Welcome to NarrativeNook audio tales where enchanted stories come to life. If you enjoy our stories, please subscribe, like and share to support our channel. Enjoy listening.
But Grandpa, I don't know anything about business management, Nicole voiced her insecurities. Sean and Steve looked at her. Steve said, "Nicole, where did your confidence go? You used to be decisive and capable during your high school days. Despite your lack of business management expertise, every choice you made prevented crises for the company. Now that you're back, it's time to take over. Sean and I can teach you if you need help." "That's right. Everyone has been hoping for your return," Stanley added with a smile. After all, when it came to dealing with their uncles, neither of them possessed Nicole's decisiveness. They had been stifled by restriction all these years. Nicole felt overwhelmed by everything that had happened these few days. It felt like a dream. I just met this family, and now they want me to inherit a company? I hadn't given my true identity a thought in the past 5 years of wandering the streets. I had no idea I was a multimillionaire heiress with an inheritance. Feeling immense pressure, Nicole replied, "I had just only gotten back. Let me think about it first." Noticing Nicole's stress, Gloria heartily chimed in, "Dad, Nicole just only reunited with her family. Let her take some time before discussing this matter." Mr. Riddle Sr. did not want to push Nicole too hard and compromised. "All right. If that's the case, you should take a week off. We'll discuss this next week." Mr. Riddle Sr. had no choice but to give Nicole a week's time to think about this matter. Nicole remained silent as she could sense the urgency in her grandfather's tone. The two families before were not easy to deal with, and the company had always been in a difficult situation. "I got it, Grandpa. Wait till I work out what's going on in the company. I'll make my way there as soon as possible." If Mr. Riddle Sr. and her family trusted her, she would not let them down. Jared watched Nicole closely. Even though she had lost her memories, she was still his confident and strong-willed woman. "Don't worry. I'll help you out," Jared reassured. He held her hand, soothing her. Nicole glanced at Jared by her side, unexpectedly finding some comfort in his words. After visiting Mr. Riddle Sr., everyone went downstairs as he grew tired. After they got downstairs, Jared took the bottle of medication from Nicole's hand and went to have it tested. Nicole did not stop him. With Jared's connections in the country, his approach would be faster than her personally going to the hospital for testing. Daniel looked worriedly at Nicole. "Nicole, these few days may be tough for you if you're returning to the company next week. Besides understanding the company's situation and knowing the business partners, you should also." Nicole turned to look at Daniel after his last sentence. "Is there something else going on?" Daniel replied, "To be frank, in the 5 years you were missing, we announced to the outside world that Jared was protecting you and you would not be managing the company. Many suspected your absence, wondering if you were missing or in trouble. The company's partners has gradually decreased as well. So before you take over next week, you should host a banquet and announce your return, emphasizing that you'll inherit and take over the company." The Riddle family had been looking forward to this day for far too long. Nicole never expected a banquet, as she was bad at socializing. I'm not good at this." Jared interjected, "Uncle, rest assured and make the arrangements. I'll go with Nicole and make sure she doesn't slip up." Jared understood Daniel's intentions, and he did not want Nicole to encounter any problems. Daniel breathed a sigh of relief. "Good to hear. Thank you for your hard work, Jared." Nicole watched as the two of them finished their plans and kept her thoughts to herself. Nicole's gaze naturally landed on Jared. Her problems did not seem as daunting when he was around. For the first time, she figured having a man around was not that awful. Initially, Mr. Riddle Sr. prepared a welcome banquet for Nicole and the whole family to dine. However, Damien and Dillian's family left in anger, leaving only Dexter and his family behind. Nicole and the others, along with Dexter, Emma, Emery, and Ella had a meal together. At the dinner table, Ella and Nicole seemed to get along well. Jared whispered in Nicole's ear occasionally, reminding her how to handle things and not reveal traces of her memory loss. The two families enjoyed a pleasant time during the meal. After dinner, Dexter looked discomfited while facing Nicole and Daniel. Daniel, our company's performance this month is still not promising. If we continue at this rate, we might really struggle to keep the company going. Dexter initially opposed the idea of breaking up the family and separating the companies. The other 3 siblings supported the plan though. Therefore his department was also divided into a subsidiary business. Dexter was not skilled in negotiating partnerships, so he struggled the most in managing the business among the 4 siblings. Over the past 2 years, they managed to survive by relying on the collaborations from the headquarters. Dexter was quite concerned because this year's HQ collaborations were down 30%. Don't worry, Dexter. Now that Nicole's back, we would definitely secure more partnerships at the headquarters. Like before, you can select some projects your company can handle and take over, said Daniel. Dexter let out a sigh of relief, grateful for Daniel's support and generosity. Thank you, Daniel. I must have put you in a difficult place while relying on the headquarters' support these few years. Dexter knew he had been a burden on Daniel and his family, but it would be too embarrassing to shut down his business. It's nothing. We're family, it's completely normal, Daniel said magnanimously. His reaction put Dexter and Emma at ease. Nicole, who had been silent all along, cast a grateful and kind glance at Dexter and his family. She could tell that Dexter and his family were not bad people, and had a pretty close relationship with her parents. She spoke slowly. Uncle Dexter, if you don't mind, try organizing your business's financial statements and documents. Perhaps we can help you identify the problem. Riddle Corporation was financially strong. Dexter, after all, came from the 3rd branch of the Riddle family. Nicole believed his situation should not be like this, and there must be some oversight somewhere. Yes, definitely. You even know how to manage businesses, Nicole. Dexter seemed to glimpse a glimmer of hope. However, this question left Nicole speechless. Jared chuckled. Nicole does have some knowledge of managing business. Both of us will discuss and help you. Dexter was pleasantly surprised that Jared offered to help. That's great. I'll get someone to prepare and send it to you tomorrow. Fine by me. Nicole nodded and spoke no further, though she felt relieved in her heart. It was rather nice to have Jared as a shield. Nicole did not understand business management. She had simply spoken out earlier because she felt that something was amiss. Maybe they could really find out something from it. After finishing the meal, Sean and Daniel wanted to stay back to discuss some matters with Mr. Riddle Sr. Thus, they headed back first. Gloria, Samuel, and Spencer went home together in one car. Jared, on the other hand, took Nicole with him. Noticing her silence, he asked, "What are you thinking?" Nicole sighed. "I only thought I had many enemies here, but I never expected my own family was waiting for my return. Besides, there's a company waiting for me to manage it." Nicole missed out on so much in the past 5 years. To be frank, I came back here once when I was pregnant 5 years ago. However, my enemies hunted me down, and I almost had a miscarriage. Since then, I never once set foot in Hustruaberg, for the sake of my children. If Nolan had not returned to Hustruaberg, Nicole might have never returned until her kids were grown up. Her parents would have grown older by then, and she would have had no idea how the business would be doing. Jared's expression instantly grew cold, but he looked at Nicole tenderly. "Someone attacked you?" Hearing Nicole mention she almost had a miscarriage, Jared's eyes turned red. "Did you figure out who it was?" Nicole shook her head. "I lost my memories. How could I possibly know?" Jared's gaze became downcast. The Raven had been dealt with, and the matters overseas had come to an end after retrieving Brave. Jared wondered who could have attacked Nicole. With that thought in mind, he asked about a more pressing matter. "Is the fire crest still with you?" Nicole replied with her eyebrows raised. "Fire crest? What's that?" As Jared expected, it seemed like the fire chest was lost. Turning back and looking into Nicole's innocent eyes, he decided not to bring the matter up again. Since Nicole had already forgotten about it, he did not want to burden her by telling her now. "Why aren't you saying anything?" Nicole looked at him curiously. Jared simply shook his head, saying, "There's no need. You don't even know about it, so it must be missing. If it's lost, then let it be. After all, Jared always thought that the crest was dangerous. Maybe the people who attacked Nicole 5 years ago were after Fire Crest. It was better now that it was gone. He would investigate its whereabouts and whether it had changed hands before bringing this matter up again. Nicole did not press Jared further as she observed Jared's peculiar expression. Mr. Riddle Sr. had given Nicole a week's time to prepare. Thus, Nicole planned to bring Lana back from Romania the next day. However, she did not expect someone to ring the doorbell of the Riddle family's house early the next morning. The people having breakfast exchanged skeptical glances before Daniel instructed the butler to bring the person in. To their surprise, a pretty little girl dressed in a pink gown burst into the room. Upon seeing the little girl, Nolan was the first to react. Lana. He instantly slid off his chair and rushed toward his younger sister. Lana, how did you get here? Lana looked at her brother and glared at him with a pout. What do you think? Mommy did not come to pick me up because you brought her back here. Nolan was reduced to silence by Lana's retort. Although Nolan had no fears, he dreaded Lana's tears. And true enough, Lana's eyes welled up with an anguished look at this precise time. Hey, don't cry. I didn't do it on purpose. I just wanted to watch the hackers competition. So you'll let me wait for Mommy alone overseas? I waited so long. Lana's innocent voice filled with pity. The more she spoke, the sadder she became. Nicole's heart melted as she hurriedly picked up Lana, comforting her. I'm so sorry, Lana. Mommy let you down. I broke my promise since I didn't go pick you up in 3 days. This was the first time that Nicole had been separated from Lana for so many days. Lana hugged Nicole's neck tightly, her voice so sweet and childish. I missed you so much, Mommy. With a teardrop, like a falling pearl, everyone's heart was instantly melted by her behavior. Jared felt his heart melt as he stared at the beautifully delicate little girl. Is this the little princess Nicole gave birth to? She's so adorable, Jared thought. He stepped forward and got closer to them. Sensing a stranger approaching, Lana looked over at Jared. Just one look and her big eyes lit up. Who's this handsome uncle? Hearing Lana call him handsome, Jared could not contain his joy and his mouth curved into a smile. I'm your... Just as Jared was about to say he was her father, Nicole suddenly interrupted him. You should not call him a handsome uncle. You're talking nonsense again. Call him Uncle Jared. Everyone at the table exchanged looks upon hearing Nicole ask her daughter to call Jared uncle. But no one said anything about it. Jared's expression turned ugly, thinking, I'm the father of the child. How could she call me uncle? At the side, Nolan said pleasantly, that's right. He's Uncle Jared. Jared had a disapproving look on his face. Lana, on the other hand, flashed a brilliant smile. Hi, handsome Uncle Jared. Indeed, daughters would always be Daddy's sweetheart. Jared's darkened expression softened instantly. Hello. Even if you call me uncle, it sounds so nice. How could Jared still be unhappy? Nicole was a little awkward, looking at Jared's behavior. Why is he so happy when she called him uncle? Putting her thoughts aside, Nicole asked Lana, Lana, how did you come here? Who brought you here? Uncle Ian. Lana pointed in the door's direction. Ian was waiting at the entrance. Nicole felt relieved upon seeing Ian. Thank you, Ian. Jared's expression turned sour as he saw Nicole being so friendly toward the other man. After all, Ian was the one who was going to take Nicole away at the airport. Since then, Ian was an eyesore to Jared. You're too polite, Nikki. Leo ordered me to send Lana here, Ian replied. Hearing this, Nicole raised her eyebrow. Leo? He's here too. Nolan's eyes lit up when he heard Leo was present. Is Godpa here too? After a brief period of embarrassment, Nicole was suddenly relieved to learn that Leo was present. Why didn't Leo come in since he's here? Jared's eyes became downcast when he heard Leo's name. This code name gave him an inexplicable sense of familiarity. Ian pretended to be in a difficult spot and looked at Nicole. Mr. Leo said he knows you are in safe hands and didn't want to disturb your reunion with your family. He won't be disturbing anyone. I want to see Godpa. Nolan said. He thought, if Godpa doesn't come soon, Mommy would be taken away. With that in mind, Nolan rushed out. Nolan. Nicole called out to her child, but Nolan had already rushed out. Nicole could only put Lana down to chase after Nolan. However, Jared grabbed her and said, since he's here, why don't you introduce me to Nolan's godfather? Nicole could feel Jared emanating a powerful aura, chilling the room. Jared's aura was too strong, and Nicole feared the gentle Leo could not handle him. Soon, Nolan brought Leo Indiana. All eyes turned to see a man with blue eyes and gold-rimmed glasses walking into the house. He wore a white suit, exuding a pure aura, and had an unmistakable sense of nobility. Jared's eyes immediately squinted suspiciously when he saw Leo. His information previously was accurate, but he had some doubts about it. After really meeting the person, Jared found that the man he investigated was indeed Lawrence. At this time, Lawrence acted unfamiliar to Jared. He walked over and stretched out his hand. Mr. Johnston, it's been a while. Jared's face hardened. He did not extend his hand. Nicole was surprised when she noticed the tension. You guys know each other? For the past 5 years, Leo had been taking care of me, but did they know each other? Jared's expression was stone cold. He smiled cruelly. We're not just acquainted. He once helped me transport some things back to San Joto before. And now that my wife had gone missing, it was him who found her back for me. Jared's wife. Nicole looked at Lawrence suspiciously, thinking that he would be taken aback, but Lawrence looked calm. I'm afraid that there's been some misunderstanding between us two. Why don't we have a talk about it? Everyone in the room was stunned to see Lawrence, and hearing what Jared had said, everyone left their food untouched. The butler cleared up the table and everyone moved to the living room and sat down. Jared sat across from Lawrence. With an unpleasant expression, he asked, "Now can we talk about it?" Nicole had been missing for 5 long years. It's so obvious that he had kept her hidden for this long. I want to see what kind of excuse he could make up this time. At this moment, Nicole, Daniel, and the others were listening to the conversation, waiting for Lawrence to tell them the truth. Lawrence calmly took a sip of his coffee before speaking. When Ms. Riddle disappeared back then, I had sent out people to help you find her. But under the circumstances of the plane crash and that she was missing for so many days, I was beginning to think that she had died. It wasn't until much later that I found someone on an island with a child. I thought that she looked just like Nicole, but I didn't dare think much further as she might be a wife to someone else. So, that's why I hadn't been giving any unnecessary feedback to you, Mr. Johnston, to save you from further false hope. Lawrence had made it sound like he was concerned about Jared's well-being, but to Jared's ears it was all rubbish. Lawrence peered at Jared's gloomy face, not giving one thought about him before looking at Nicole. To me, when I saw Nicole back then, it was love at first sight. I fell in love with her, thought she looked like her, and she was carrying a child. I didn't mind, and I just wanted to protect and take care of her. Nicole was in shock at Lawrence's words. What's going on? Was this the reason he was good to me? He fell in love with me at first sight. Everything makes sense now, how he treated me so well, wanting nothing in return. Even if she was carrying a child, shouldn't the first thing you do be reporting to me? When Jared left Romania, he had assigned Lawrence to the matter. It was unexpected that Lawrence had stabbed him in the back like this. He's the reason why Nicole and I were separated for 5 years. Lawrence was silent for a moment before speaking up. Mr. Johnston, do you know how powerful Ms. Riddle was back then? But now, Nikki is just a normal single mother. Of course, by right, I wouldn't want her to be with someone who is unable to protect her. I have to admit I am a tad bit selfish. As soon as these words came out, all of Jared's flaws were brought to light. Jared reminisced on his past regrets of not protecting Nicole well enough. The pain and regret went deep into his bones, like a wound that would not heal, and to have it picked on by Lawrence, the pain was unbearable. Lawrence noticed Jared's pained expression, and continued speaking. But don't you think that amnesia is a good thing? At least it is for Nicole. She can forget how incompetent you were in protecting her, and all the terrible things from before. Now, she can live her life peacefully with her kid leading a normal life. I don't think that there was a need to tell you all this, as I worry that you would find someone who looks like her to be her substitute. I don't want to ruin this for her." Lawrence was sincere in his words. Nicole looked in his eyes and her heart felt inexplicably conflicted. Lawrence was a guy that helped me through thick and thin for the past 5 years. I have no right to not believe his words, but to have me separated from my family for 5 years. This is... Shut up. It's between Nicole and I. You have no right to interfere with this. Jared's eyes instantly turned cold. Jared knew that although he failed to protect Nicole before, he knew that she was a strong woman and did not ever need to stand or require anyone's protection. Sean, who had been staring at Lawrence for a while now, noticed that Lawrence was a powerful guy. From his expression and gestures, no flaws were found. It seems that he's really sincere about Nicole, no wicked intentions or anything. He's not an easy feat. Lawrence sighed. I know I'm not qualified enough to talk to you about things like these, but it's been 5 years. I've been by her side, taking care of her and her children. Also, the relationship between both Nicole and I hope that Mr. Johnston won't come in between and meddle with it. Lawrence had deliberately said it with a provocative smile on his face. Jared's expression had gotten darker before smiling coldly. I won't mind your 5-year relationship. After all, nothing will change. Legally, Nicole is still my wife. As long as we have a marriage certificate despite having to date for less than a year. These 5 years wasted with Lawrence are nothing. At the end of the day, I'm still her legal husband. You're too kind, Mr. Johnston. Lawrence did not seem to be bothered and responded with a smile. Then, I won't be too mean by caring who Nicole's legal husband is. I will only care who her heart belongs to. As soon as these words came out, it seemed that both Nicole and Lawrence had agreed secretly of their feelings for each other, though the vague flirting had made Nicole embarrassed. What's he doing? I've never given him any reaction to his flirting before. Why is he speaking like we have something going on? At this moment, the entire Riddle family looked at Nicole with complicated expressions before looking at Jared with sympathy. Jared was furious as he felt like he had been cheated on. Her heart is naturally mine. It can only be mine. Nicole's heart, Nicole's body, they're all mine. This is one thing that'll never change. Lawrence was rather thrilled to see Jared's huge reaction. Mr. Johnston, you're too domineering. Nicole isn't a thing for you to own and have. You only spent a year together with her, but we've spent 5 years together. I respect her choices and decisions. I hope that in the future you can respect them too. Jared's face hardened. How dare he compare our time spent together? Bullshit, respect. Don't use this nonsense to corner me. She's someone I love. How can I let her go so easily? Nicole, I won't ever let go, not ever. Lawrence was overjoyed to see Jared's emotions coming to the surface. He could not help but smile wider. It's your choice to make. I won't mind it anyway, but you should know that the prettiest looking fruits won't end up being the sweetest. Jared's face darkened. The entire Riddle family were looking at the two of them. Daniel looked at Lawrence with discontent. Everyone in the room was aware that Lawrence wanted to separate Jared and Nicole, not wanting them to have any chance of reconciliation. With a cold face, Daniel spoke up. Everyone in this family agreed with this marriage. Coming as an outsider, you have no right to talk about this. I'd like to know from this gentleman here, what right did you have to keep my daughter hostage abroad for so many years, and 5 years at that? Letting her be unable to be reunited with her family for so long. It was unexpected that Daniel spoke up and questioned Lawrence. Nicole sighed helplessly. Dad. Though Nicole was conflicted with her emotions between Lawrence's care for the past 5 years, she had no right to refuse his kindness. Lawrence did not seem bothered by the accusation. I understand what you're feeling, but I have never, in my intentions, kept her hostage. It was Mr. Johnston who gave up searching, and no one had been to that island. Thus, I've always respected her choice, and since she wanted to come back after 5 years, I supported her to go home, but... Lawrence paused before looking at Nicole. Nicole had no choice but to help him out. 5 years ago, after I had given birth, I did come back to San Joto once. It's just that after I had landed, I was attacked. At the time, Nicole's body was still frail and was still healing from her pregnancy. Nicole did not continue to speak afterwards. Lawrence continued, speaking with stern eyes. I wasn't sure if she was Ms. Riddle at the time, but because of her looks there were countless people in this country that had their eye out for her. They fired 4 shots at her. Her arms and legs were shot. If someone hadn't sent her to the hospital, she would have been long gone. What? Gloria's heart tightened as she heard the news. She could not help gasping, "Oh my goodness. Nicole, just what did you have to go through alone? Why didn't you talk to me when you came home?" At this moment, Nicole could not help staring at Lawrence. She wanted to avoid telling the important bits of the story, but instead, he told them all on purpose. Jared's eyes were full of shock. He could not help but look at Nicole. It was at that moment Jared understood why Nicole's strength had gotten so weak. "Why didn't you tell me about this?" Jared's voice was filled with worry and guilt. "She's mine. No one can lay a finger on her. I won't let any one of them go. But from the way she'd been treating me like a stranger and kept this from me, this feeling of alienation is quite depressing. I just didn't want you guys to worry. Before, I wasn't that close with them, so I didn't tell them, but now that I am, I'm worried that they'll be worried about me since that happened a long time ago and caused me psychological trauma. I didn't want any of them to go through what I went through." Jared and the Riddle family fell silent. Lawrence took a deep breath. "I'm not here to accuse anyone of anything. It's just that I've seen her being hurt so badly with my 2 eyes. I don't have the power to protect her here in San Joto, thus I didn't let her come back as soon as possible." Jared stared at Lawrence. "But you could have handed her over to me." "I can and of course will protect my own woman. This guy is too self-righteous." Lawrence noticed Jared's cold look before making a big move. "Really? But what if she wasn't the person you were looking for? Would you still protect her? But even if you did find her and find out she's the person you've been searching for, she had already died twice. If you really had the ability to truly protect her, she wouldn't have gone through any of that." Lawrence's words pierced through Jared's heart like a knife. For the past 5 years, Jared had been hating himself for not protecting Nicole well enough, and to the extent of blaming himself for letting the jet crash. It was one of his deepest regrets that left him living in pain every day. Jared had a clear conscience when it came to everyone else he had to deal with. However, when it came to Nicole, the guilt ate him up entirely, knowing that he owed her a lot. Jared did not speak for a while. His eyes were filled with sadness. Nicole could not bear to look at him. On the other hand, Lawrence continued to attack Jared with his words that were sharp as knives. "I gave her the power to decide for herself when she woke up. I asked her if she wanted to come back here, but because of her children, she had to survive. She hadn't come back here for the past 5 years, and for all these years, I was the one protecting her, not letting her get hurt even slightly." The last sentence Lawrence uttered out seemed to be him showing off of how well of a job he had done compared to the time Jared and Nicole had spent together, which had brought Nicole to the brink of death. The Riddle family fell silent. They realized that it was not just Jared who was incapable of keeping Nicole safe. The entire Riddle family were to blame too. After a long silence, Sean took a deep breath before walking out. "Anyway, thank you for taking care of my sister for the past 5 years, Lawrence." Both the Riddle family and Jared had failed to do what Lawrence had accomplished. Lawrence smiled. "Your utmost welcome." The sudden confession from Lawrence had now made him the benefactor of the Riddle family. Sean could not help narrowing his eyes at Lawrence. "He speaks way too eloquently for me to find any flaws in him. He's one mysteriously sketchy guy." Daniel had also restrained his anger. "Forget it. Lawrence, since you're considerate and you respect Nicole, and it's indeed our fault that we were unable to protect Nicole properly. We must thank you for taking care of Nicole and her child for the past 5 years. Why don't you stay and have lunch with us?" Upon hearing his grandparents' extended invitation to Lawrence, Nolan was thrilled, rushing up to hug Lawrence's legs. "Godfather. Please stay. I missed you so much." Lawrence looked at Nolan and smiled gently before speaking affectionately. "Okay, you're the man. You call the shots." Jared stared at Nolan. How dare they be this intimate with each other? The way Nolan called to him, they almost seemed to be the actual father and son. Spencer and Samuel were giving each other looks with the feeling of something was wrong, yet did not know how to put their finger on it. It was when they could not keep up with the bullshit going on that spoke to the butler. "Alfred, prepare some dishes for lunch today. We've got guests." "Godpa, let me show you around the house. Grandpa and Grandma's house is huge." Nolan had wanted this to be an excuse, so he'd have some one-on-one time with Lawrence. Lawrence understood immediately and agreed. "Sure, let's go." Gloria and Daniel relaxed when they saw Nolan was taking the initiative to take Lawrence around for a house tour. Lawrence took a glance at Nicole before he left. "You don't mind if I accompany him for a while, do you?" Noticing Lawrence's modest and polite manner, Nicole nodded in agreement. For the past 5 years, Lawrence would ensure that he asked her for her permission and would never force things on her that would make her uncomfortable. "Go ahead. Nolan has been missing you these past few days." Nicole smiled at Lawrence, as if the two of them had an unspoken understanding. Onlookers would misjudge them as husband and wife. Jared, who was looking at this scene, felt even worse and directly blocked Lawrence from his sight. Jared grabbed Nicole by her arm and said, "Let's go back to our room." Jared emphasized on going back to their room on purpose, ensuring that Lawrence had heard him loud and clear, before leaving with Nicole. "Oh yeah. Leo, feel free to do what you like. I'll come find you after I've got Lana settled down," Nicole explained awkwardly to Lawrence, with Lana in her arms. Lawrence watched as the family of 3 walked upstairs before disappearing. 5 years. Lawrence had always been an optimistic person, who had been inching toward Nicole slowly over time. In just a few days' time she had reconnected with Jared. To see them as a family of 3 is such an eyesore. Lawrence looked away and found that Steve had been staring at him. He quickly gave Steve a smile. "Steve, is there something you want to say?" Steve slightly raised his eyebrows and replied, "No." He didn't avoid eye contact at all. "He's quite a dangerous guy. I'm worried he might have come here prepared. Otherwise, how could he have all our names right on the first try?" Steve kept his speculations to himself before deciding to investigate this matter with Sean later. Upstairs, Nicole carried Lana into the room and Jared trailed along behind them. Jared noticed the relationship between the mother and daughter duo were close. He could not hide his smile. "Mom, why does this handsome uncle have to live with you?" Nicole was speechless and did not know how to explain. Jared, on the other hand, who was still feeling resentful about what Lawrence had said and done earlier, spoke directly to Lana. "I'm your birth father. No one can live with your mom except for me." "Birth father?" Lana was stunned, before speaking with watery eyes. "Oh my God. The handsome guy is my birth father." Lana stretched out her fleshy tiny arms toward Jared. "Birth father, I want a hug." Compared to Nolan, seeing Lana being this excited had lifted up some of the weight off his chest. Jared reached out and brought Lana into his arms. Nicole was stunned at the suddenness of seeing Lana, who was often sensitive, easily accept Jared. Lana would have never let Lawrence hug her usually, yet she allowed Jared to hug her? "I guess this is the miracle of blood relations, huh?" Jared held Lana in his arms before proudly looking at Nicole. "You should have let us meet sooner." Compared to that brat Nolan, Lana is much cuter. Nicole did not speak, yet she watched as Jared enjoyed his time coaxing Lana to sleep. She could not help but feel a little helpless. "You better hug her tight." Lana usually wouldn't let others hug her. A smile instantly spread across his face as he heard this before he turned to look at his daughter. "She's my daughter. That's how it should be." Lana smiled happily. "Handsome man, you're really my birth father?" Lana looked like she had been looking forward to having a father for a long time. On the other hand, her brother was fond of his godfather. Now, Lana only wanted her father. I guess from now on I can be like other kids. I have a birth father who will come to my sports events. Of course. Jared nodded his head, eyes full of confidence. Lana smiled brightly. Then, birth father, do you have money? This sudden question stunned Nicole. Nolan and Lana are twins. They're both smart. Jared raised his eyebrows and said nonchalantly, yes. Then, birth father, do you have a big house? Lana asked innocently, staring at Jared with her big eyes. Jared grinned confidently and replied, of course. Jared carried Lana over to the balcony, before pointing to the manor next door. That's the house I bought for your mother. Wow. Lana had her mouth agape, trying to maintain her composure. Then, do you know Kung Fu? Jared nodded. Of course. Your father is an all-rounder in civil and military affairs. Lana smiled. That's amazing. All the kids at kindergarten will be jealous that I have such an amazing father. When Jared heard Lana's explanation, he could not help but laugh. How can a kid this young know how to show off? Kids these days are really keeping in trend. After a while of chattering, Lana got out from Jared's grasp and waddled over to Nicole's side with her short legs. Mom, I think father's traits are quite good. You can consider him. It was at this moment that Jared realized that Lana was not asking childish questions at all. All her questions were thoughtful toward Nicole. Lana had done a background check on her own father to check if he was a suitable fit for her mother. These two kids are really a handful. Lana looked up at the two of them and said, Mom, I want to go visit my uncles. You and my birth father can have a chat. As soon as she said that, Lana shot Jared a wink, as if she was trying to match them, before leaving with a smile on her lips. Nicole felt distressed as she watched Lana leave, waddling with her short legs. Lana was usually well-behaved and sensible, like a little adult who hoped that her mother could find her birth father. Lana could not hold back her excitement when she met with her birth father, yet she was able to maintain her rationality and decision-making to make considerations for her mother. Nicole watched as her daughter left, filled with mixed feelings. In that time, Jared had come to her side and he brought her into a hug from behind. The sudden intimate gesture made Nicole tense up. You, what do you think you're doing? Let me go. Nicole said hurriedly. What the hell is wrong with this guy, suddenly hugging me? Nicole thought, feeling extremely uncomfortable. I'm sorry. Jared had never apologized to anyone, but for Nicole, all he felt was guilt and sadness. Nicole was taken aback for a moment before saying, Don't be. I hate Lawrence, but him saying all those things. He's right, it's me who failed to take care of you, Jared said in a low voice as his mind thought of the scene of Nicole being shot in her arms and legs when she returned to San Joto 5 years ago. What excruciating pain did she have to go through? At this moment, Jared's hand was inching closer to Nicole, bringing her into a half-hug. I swear that from now on, I'll protect you and the kids with all I've got, and I'll make those who hurt you pay. No matter who had hurt her, I would never let them go. I'll hunt them down one by one. As she felt Jared's trembling hands, Nicole felt her heart beat faster. It was like she could feel his sincerity. However, she could not fathom that Lawrence's words could affect Jared so much.
Thank you for listening. If you have enjoyed this story, please like and share so others can see it too. Also hit the subscription button and notification bell so you can be notified on our next release. Thank you for your support. God bless you.